This video is about Techart TZM-02 adapter. It is a very interesting product from a Chinese company that lets you autofocus almost any lens on a Nikon Z mount body. There is also a version for Sony E mount. I've tried the adapter on 3 different cameras, including Nikon Zf, Nikon Z6iii, and recently Nikon Z50 too. And I used it with 6 different lenses from 15mm to 400mm. First of all, let's start with this 50mm f/0.95. That was my main reason for purchasing of the adapter. I used it with Nikon Zf and Z6iii and took a lot of pictures of my wife and daughter. It worked well for both of them. Maybe worked a little better on Nikon Zf. Now fast forward a few months and in a surprise move I sold my Nikon Z6iii, but I have access to a Nikon Z50 too, and I tried my adapter with all of my lenses on it. Here are my findings for shorter focal lengths, meaning 15, 28, 35, 50 and 90mm. In good light, the autofocus for stationary subjects is really good. Accuracy is good, but not 100% of times, but it is good enough to make it usable. I also found that the more light the lens can capture makes the focusing easier. For example, when I used the 50mm at f/16, it struggled a bit. The other thing is that the weight of the lens wasn't an issue for the adapter, and it handled every lens very well. Also, sometimes, especially at close focus distances, I needed to play with the focus ring, but not many often, and most of the times it was at infinity. Now, for the 400mm lens, the story was totally different. It didn't work at all. I tried to adjust the focus ring, but it never worked. I don't know why, but I think the reason is that it is an autofocus lens, and I'm not really sure about the focusing mechanism. It might need to move an inner element to focus. I also tested the lenses indoor with normal lighting. It wasn't dark, but it wasn't as bright as outdoor, and the result was acceptable. Also, subject detection worked well, both indoor and outdoor. Again, I didn't try AFC for a moving subject, but working with AFS and subject detection, I tried it with auto area mode and both small and large wide area modes. And I found that in both modes it actually works. Also, I used my 50mm f/0.95 wide open for a little video with continuous autofocus, and I slowly moved the camera for this setup and it worked really well. But the adapter's motor constantly makes a noise, so if you need the sound, it is not usable. Another problem is that this adapter changes the accuracy of distant markings on the lens. For example, if I focus on something on my Leica M 240 and then mount the lens on a Nikon Z body using Techart adapter, it is not in focus anymore. This is a problem that many cheap adapters have, but I didn't expect it from Techart, which is an expensive adapter. So what is my final verdict? Well, no doubt that it is a really cool product. I didn't expect super fast autofocus on moving subjects, but the fact that it is usable for everyday photography and some portrait work is really nice. I'm even okay with the noises that it makes. My only wish is that they fix the distance accuracy issue for manual focus. So that's it. If you like this video, please consider subscribing to my channel. Also feel free to follow me on Instagram, Blue Sky, and X, also known as Twitter.